The movie opens in Helsinki, Finland in the middle of the night. A little girl is running from a remote house toward the woods as we hear roaring in the distance. She runs through the woods as a group of people searches for her. She finally reaches a river and tries to take a boat, but doesn't have time as the people approaches her. The little girl then jumps into the river and begins to drown. But before she dies, someone gets into the water and rescues her. The film then cuts to Boise, Idaho. Rex, a veteran and resident of Boise, visits a bank to see a teller named Maddie that he has a crush on. He purposefully manipulates the bank's line so that when Maddie is available he can speak with her. While Rex is flirting and asking Maddie out on a date, a group of armed robbers storm the bank and demand both the register tills and all of the customers' purses and wallets. Rex instructs Maddie to run and prepares to hand over his wallet. Another customer's spit-open purse reveals a firearm that Rex debates using to defend himself as well as the bank customers and employees. One of the robbers hits a man as he doesn't have any money, causing the woman's purse to fly over and land on Rex. Flashback sequences reveal that Rex was able to successfully secure the bank by dispatching the armed robbers one at a time. Unfortunately, an innocent bystander was killed in the process. The reception of Rex's actions is split down the line, believing him to either be a hero who saved the day or a rogue vigilante who caused an unnecessary death. Rex goes back and forth with his attorney before his trial, where he can either take a plea deal and serve 8 years in prison or try and prove his innocence, but serve 20 to life if he is found guilty. Rex takes the plea deal and serves 8 years in prison. Upon being released, the media has a field day with Rex's actions in the bank and follows him obsessively while he enjoys some small luxuries of freedom like grocery shopping and eating a burger. Rex also sees and talks to a physical manifestation of himself, which only he can see. He then returns to the bar where he was previously employed and speaks with another bartender, Pete. They banter back and forth and Rex explains that he has made a calculated decision to get away to Finland. The calculated decision turns out to be shooting a spitwad at a map in his cell, where the spitwad landed on Finland. Rex is shown at the airport being adorned by an obnoxious fan who compares him to John Wick. He is also uncomfortably stared at by an elderly Finnish couple who mentions something in Finnish about capturing him. Another Finnish passenger who overheard the couple sidles up to Rex and whispers their ominous conversation to him. Brushing this off as coincidence, Rex boards his flight, realizing that the airport codes for Boise to Helsinki, Finland are boy to hell, but boards his flight anyway. Upon landing, he is being stalked by a man who cuts off the other taxis to drive Rex. He quickly enters the taxi, but during the journey, the man releases a sleeping gas, which fills the back seat and causes Rex to pass out. The movie then cuts to a woman named Alia, who is the little girl from earlier, reading her little brother a kid story. She teaches him some English words, like banquet, which means dinner. They hear a noise and roar outside, as some people are bringing Rex inside. Rex then awakens in a basement-turned-torture chamber with one of his legs amputated at the knee and his hands bound to the ceiling. Rex freaks out as his conscience gets angry for losing his leg. Rex begins to work with his conscience to deduce as much information about his predicament as possible. Rex and his conscience quickly discern that Rex is being held captive by a family as there are lots of various toys around the room. However, Rex is unable to escape his binds. The audience learns that Rex is in the basement of a large family estate in rural Finland. We see that in the family. The couple that was stalking Rex at the airport is the father and mother of the family. There are 2 twin brothers, Gail and Gideon, alongside Alia and the little boy. Alia is the oldest one in the family, whereas the boy, Olaf, is the youngest one. And the man who kidnapped Rex is the uncle. Olaf waits for the family to go to sleep and starts wandering around the house. He finally enters the basement to find Rex being held hostage. Rex's conscience tells him that he can hold Olaf hostage as an insurance policy to be set free from the family. Olaf is wielding a small knife and debates freeing Rex. However, Rex quickly incapacitates and traps Olaf between his legs despite being held captive. Alia wakes up to find that Olaf is no longer in his bed. Alia then goes searching for him and she finds Rex holding Olaf captive. Rex negotiates with Alia to free him in exchange for not killing Olaf. Before any kind of deal can be negotiated, Rex loses his hold on Olaf and Alia is able to retreat with a wounded Olaf upstairs. The family then needs to take Olaf to the hospital to receive medical attention, as Olaf is completely unconscious. Alia then explains that Olaf was injured falling out of bed to protect Rex. The mother slaps Alia for not protecting Olaf and orders her to stay in the house, while the whole family takes Olaf to the hospital. Alia then fantasizes about a wedding to Rex, and comes back downstairs to clean and dress his wound, professing her affection for Rex. Alia explains that her family, particularly her eldest brother Patty, are cannibals who will eat Rex piece by piece, explaining his missing leg until there is nothing left. A flashback shows that Patty has craved human flesh since birth, and his family tried a number of other options, but finally, the family gave in and started killing American travelers and feeding them to Patty. Alia has always been an outcast from her family, perpetually disturbed by their murderous and cannibalistic behavior. She tried to escape many times, once with her younger brother. Unfortunately, the attempts were always unsuccessful, with her being captured and returned to the family. Alia is then locked up in a cage for 6 months before the family forces her to feed and tend to Patty as a punishment, though she explains that she was constantly looking for a chance to escape. Despite Alia's fear of her family, she refuses to help Rex escape, as she is confident that Rex cannot stop her family. Rex and Alia bond over their traumatic pasts, and Alia leaves Rex with a small knife to cut his ropes. Meanwhile, the rest of the family returns from the hospital. A doctor's diagnosis ruled out Olaf's nose injury as being from a simple fall, so they know that Alia lied to them. The father then sends the uncle and both the twin brothers to tend to Alia. They furiously rush back home and go downstairs, but Rex pretends like he is still knocked out. They then go to Alia's room but don't find her there. Alia is still in the basement with Rex, and before she can escape, the family comes back and catches her before the uncle injects Rex and knocks him out again. While he is unconscious, a flashback is shown recounting the events that took place during the bank robbery. When presented with the firearm in the bank, Rex is told by his conscience to kill them all, referring to the robbers. He quickly dispatches one robber with the handgun he has found, then trades up for a shotgun and dispatches the other robbers. Simultaneously, we are shown that the bank's cameras were turned into YouTube videos with views that accumulate into the million. Rex dispatches 3 of the 4 robbers when the final robber takes a hostage. However, Rex is able to release all of the other hostages. The flashback then shows the trial, explaining one opinion that Rex was reckless and led to the death of a bystander named Angela. However, Rex explains that the robbers were violent without provocation and likely would have hurt someone else. The flashback then shows Rex in a standoff with the final robber, who is holding his crush Maddie hostage. He negotiates for Maddie's release, and despite being free and clear, Rex shoots the final robber in the groin for his conscience's advice. The robber fires off a stray round that goes through a door, killing Angela, a bystander hiding behind the door. In another flashback, Maddie visits Rex in prison, asking to be left alone so that she can recover from the trauma she experienced. Rex is then shown talking to his cellmate in prison, who explains that he cannot outrun his problems. Rex is shown having actually shot 3 spitwads at the map when deciding where to live, each one landing on Finland. Rex awakens to find the uncle starting to saw off his remaining leg. However, Rex is able to unsheath the knife from Alia and stab uncle in the head, killing him before the operation is complete. Rex then is able to free himself and begins searching the basement for objects he can improvise into weapons. Finding a flare gun, a large knife, and other various items he can improvise into firearms. Rex and his conscience debate whether to save Alia or not before escaping, with Rex seeming reluctant to try and help another woman when it ended tragically last time. Rex then replaces his lost leg with a golf club before making his way upstairs. He approaches the front door of the house, and the scene cuts away to the remainder of the family returning from the hospital. It is also revealed that Alia has been locked in the cage again. The family debates fleeing should the authorities show up, and ultimately explains they will search for Rex and find him, or he will most likely die in the surrounding woods. While debating the course of action, father and one of the older twin brothers are shot to death by an unseen Rex, quickly revealed to be hiding under a table. He then shoots the other twin on the leg, before knocking the mother out with his golf club. Rex then finishes the other twin by throwing and plunging 2 knives at him. The mother regains consciousness, but Alia holds her with a rope from behind and strangles her to death. However, Patty is still alive. He is revealed to be a grotesque giant, who becomes enraged by the death of his family. Rex attempts to shoot Patty with the flare gun but is unsuccessful. In his battle with Patty, Rex finds his severed lower leg in the family's refrigerator with the jagged leg bone still intact. While being grappled by Patty, Rex is able to jam the foot and sharp bone into Patty's throat, killing him. Alia explains they are now safe. They then both escape the house together using the family's car. Rex is praised by his conscience, who ultimately realizes he is no longer needed and disappears. Alia and Rex then discuss recovering Olaf from the hospital. The two are later shown as a couple back in the United States, with Rex explaining to his friends at a party how they met. Alia turns out to be potentially psychotic when a woman at the party puts her hand on Rex's arm, and Alia imagines herself killing the woman with a meat cleaver, but Alia quickly controls her emotions. Olaf is later shown with a picture of his former family, explaining it may be time for an American banquet. If one looks closely at the family portrait, though, the twins may just well be a set of triplets.